to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. Tonight you are invited to settle into a soft, soothing space where the weight of the world gently drifts away and your mind opens to the sweet lullaby of an enchanted morning. In a few moments we will journey to a misty realm of tall evergreens, dew-kissed ferns, and quiet woodland creatures. But for right now, simply allow yourself to sink into comfort. Feel the softness beneath your body. Notice the rhythm of your breath, the delicate hush of each inhale and exhale. Imagine a tender blanket of tranquility unfurling across your shoulders, easing you into this calm moment. You are safe here. You are cherished. Your only task is to release the tensions of the day, letting each one slip away like fallen leaves, drifting further from your mind with every gentle breath. Close your eyes and feel the gentle rise of your chest. Inhale slowly, savoring the cool freshness of the air. Exhale, letting warmth flow outward, carrying with it any heaviness or worry. The world outside fades, replaced by a gentle hum of peace that resonates inside you. This is your time, a moment to cradle yourself in stillness. As you rest deeper, the edges of your awareness grow soft, like clouds dissolving in a quiet sky. Your heartbeat becomes your companion, guiding you closer to inner serenity. You may notice your limbs relaxing, your eyelids softly drooping, your breath growing ever calmer. In the distance of your imagination, you begin to sense the faint rustle of trees and the whisper of an early morning breeze. There, in that hushed realm, our story awaits. Let us drift now, gently and slowly, into the dreamlike hush of the enchanted forest. At the first light of dawn, a tender haze fills the enchanted forest. Soft, swirling mist clings to tall birch trunks, wrapping the woods in a gossamer veil. The forest floor is a mosaic of ferns, mossy patches, and speckled stones still moist from the dew. In this secluded woodland, everything feels hushed and reverent, as though nature is holding its breath in anticipation of a quiet miracle. High overhead, the canopy begins to shimmer with the first beams of light, and pale rays slip through the thick leaves in slender ribbons. Each beam seems to dance gracefully, illuminating tiny motes of shimmering dust that drift like fairy lights floating in the stillness. Through this dreamlike landscape wanders a gentle figure, someone whose footsteps align with the peaceful rhythms of the dawn. Their presence is delicate, as though not wishing to disturb the calm of sleeping creatures or startle the squirrels dozing in their hollows. The morning chill brushes against soft cheeks and invites a slower pace, a thoughtful regard for each bend in the path. In the hush of the waking forest, the figure takes in the melodic drip of dew from leaf to leaf, a cascade of crystal droplets playing a gentle woodland lullaby. A single deer emerges through the veil of mist, stepping with such lightness that not a twig snaps beneath its hooves. Its dappled coat glistens in the dawn glow, catching the faint sunlight until each hair seems to shimmer with a silvered edge. Ears perked and nose gently quivering, the deer sniffs the air in peaceful curiosity. The figure stands very still, offering no threat, only calm presence. Within this moment of mutual regard, an understanding passes quietly between them. This forest is big enough to hold both their gentle souls, wrapped in silence and acceptance. A soft breeze stirs, teasing the tips of the leafy canopy overhead. The swirling mist parts like a diaphanous curtain, revealing small clusters of mushrooms that gleam in earthy shades of cream and beige. At the base of ancient oaks, tiny orbs of light begin to flicker among the tree roots, little sparks that glimmer and wink like miniature stars. A hush falls as these lights float, weaving among the knots of exposed roots, trailing an ethereal glow that transforms every passing moment into something magical. It is as if the forest itself has awakened, not with fanfare, but with a graceful unveiling of hidden wonders. Drawn by this luminosity, the deer steps closer. Its soft, dark eyes reflect the drifting sparks, and for an instant, the creature appears crowned by tiny glowing halos. The forest figure watches in gentle awe, transfixed by the delicate interplay of mist, morning light, and the glimmering woodland spirits. It is a moment that seems to hover outside of time, where the senses sharpen, yet the heart relaxes, lulled by nature's soft display. As the dawn grows brighter, the path meanders beneath arching boughs that rustle faintly in a mild breeze. Every so often, a slender leaf floats down from above, twisting gracefully through the air before settling onto the damp earth. The hush is broken only by the subtle chattering of a distant stream and the lullaby hum of forest life awakening. A squirrel scampers across a low branch, pausing to observe the passing figure with bright, curious eyes. In the dappled light, the undergrowth sparkles with droplets that cling to threads of spider silk, each drop refracting the early morning sun into tiny rainbows. Soon, the faint scent of wildflowers drifts by, carried on the light wind. Beneath towering pines, small clusters of blossoms bloom in pastel shades of lavender, pink, and pale yellow, their petals glistening with dew. Soft patches of moss cushion each footstep, silencing every tread as though the forest itself encourages stillness. Overhead, a gentle flutter signals the flight of a nearby bird, stirring the leaves as it takes off in silent grace. The deer, unfazed by the visitor's continued presence, moves leisurely among the ferns, each nibble of fresh greenery accompanied by a faint crunch. In this serene domain, time slows to a languid pulse. Each breath takes on a mellow cadence, each heartbeat a gentle reminder of life's quiet persistence. Now and then, the morning sun climbs a fraction higher, illuminating pockets of the woodland and revealing hidden glades. In a nearby clearing, tender shoots of grass sway, dotted with tiny diamond droplets of dew. And all around, those soft, magical orbs of light drift closer, like curious onlookers from a world just beyond sight. They bob quietly in the air, occasionally passing through a ray of sunshine and sending out a brilliant twinkle. Following the deer, the figure steps through a naturally formed arch where two gnarled oak trunks bend toward each other in a timeless embrace. Beneath their canopy, the forest grows denser, the light more subdued. Shadows dance upon the ground as leaves overhead flutter in the breeze. Here the air carries a gentle fragrance of wet bark and pine needles. A family of rabbits peers out from behind a cluster of brambles, their small noses twitching with cautious interest. One brave rabbit ventures forward to sniff the air, but soon scampers back to the safety of the shadows. Yet despite their shy curiosity, there is no fear. The entire woodland seems lulled into acceptance, woven together by the quiet thread of dawn. Gradually, the path widens, leading into a hidden meadow encircled by slender birch trees. The bark of each birch is pale and smooth, etched with delicate dark lines that swirl up the trunks. Soft green grass carpets the earth, dotted with wild daisies that tilt their faces toward the morning sun. The deer crosses the meadow, pausing near a small cluster of these daisies. It lowers its graceful head to brush its nose gently against the blooms, as though greeting old friends. The figure lingers at the meadow's edge, enthralled by the intimate tenderness of the scene. As the world brightens, the fairy lights become more visible. They hover around the meadow's boundary, dancing in gentle arcs, flickering and glowing in pastel hues of pale gold, soft lavender, and faint pink. Their movement is slow and deliberate, tracing graceful patterns through the still air as if guided by a silent melody. One light drifts toward the deer, circling the animal's head before gliding away, leaving a faint shimmer in the air. Another hovers near the figure, close enough to illuminate each blade of grass beneath it, then quietly drifts on, merging back into the dance. Beyond the meadow, a shimmering haze of mist hangs low over a glassy pond. Tiny insects skim across the water's surface, leaving rippling circles that spread outward in quiet patterns. The deer steps delicately toward the pond, drawn perhaps by the soft reflection of morning sky that pools in the still water. Its hooves make barely a sound upon the soft earth, and when it lowers its head to drink, the echo of sipping water is like a whisper in the hush. A kingfisher, perched on an overhanging branch, dips its head curiously, catching the sparkle of fairy lights on its brilliant feathers. The figure follows, allowing the hush of the meadow to envelop them. Each footstep is careful, an homage to the serenity that prevails. Approaching the pond, they see reflections swirling, vague glimpses of luminous orbs, the graceful silhouette of the deer, and the gentle shift of clouds drifting overhead. It is a place where boundaries blend, water and sky, waking and dreaming. All the while the chorus of morning hushes the senses, inviting deeper calm with every breath. A few yards away, a cluster of tall reeds sways gently, parted from time to time by the movement of small fish or frogs beneath the pond's surface. The fairy lights hover along the water's edge, their glow softened by dawn's increasing warmth. They might be curious forest spirits, or perhaps wandering lights that visit only in these early hours to bless the woodland with their glow before hiding away again. Whatever they are, they fill the space with a deep sense of quiet wonder, as if each drifting orb carries whispers of an ancient secret. After a while, the deer finishes its gentle drink, lifting its head to gaze across the pond. The figure watches it, entranced by the creature's tranquil majesty. With unhurried grace, the deer turns, stepping lightly among the tall grasses. Flecks of morning light play across its coat, accentuating the subtle dapples that shimmer in soft silver. There is a trust in its movement, a serene acceptance of the forest's presence and the figure who shares in it. Moving with the deer, the figure continues on, following the unseen tapestry of the forest path. Their wanderings lead to an old bridge woven of living branches, gracefully arching over a narrow creek. The water flows below, its gentle current reflecting the gold of the early sun. Delicate vines drape across the bridge's railing, dotted with tiny leaves that sparkle like emeralds in the shifting light. A few glowing orbs keep pace, swirling above the stream, drifting lazily as though carried along by the trickling sound of the water. The creek whispers secrets to the stones beneath, creating a lullaby that harmonizes with the distant bird song echoing among the branches. Crossing the bridge, the figure notices how the breeze carries a faint melody, a rustle of leaves interwoven with the gentle murmur of water. Far overhead, the forest canopy forms a protective arch, letting in just enough sunlight to illuminate the path. Pockets of shadow and light dance together, creating shapes that shift and vanish along the ground. Here in the Enchanted Forest, the boundary between the ordinary world and a realm of quiet magic seems to dissolve with every step. On the opposite side of the creek, the trees stretch taller, their trunks crowned with thick foliage. The deer and its silent follower pass through a dappled corridor where the ground is blanketed by last season's leaves, their edges curled and faded to muted browns and golds. Each step rustles lightly, yet even that tiny sound seems to blend into the hush. Towering above are majestic pines, their dark needles intermingling with the brightness of the birches, forging a patchwork canopy of green and silver. Every so often, a low branch invites the curious eye. Strands of soft moss hang in delicate veils, dripping dew, drops that glisten briefly before they fall. And always, those little lights drift in and out of view, weaving their ephemeral paths around the trunks, through hollows in the bark, and occasionally pausing as though examining the visitors below. The figure feels a gentle stirring in their chest, a stirring of tranquility and awe that reminds them of the small wonders too often missed in the rush of day-to-day life. The deer's graceful steps lead to a secluded glade where a circle of broad-limbed oaks stands guard. Their roots, thick and twisted, form natural seats cushioned by a layer of velvety moss. Sunlight cascades through a gap in the canopy, forming a hazy beam that highlights dancing motes of dust and fairy lights. The air is fresh and cool, carrying a hint of damp bark and sweet nectar. It feels like a hidden sanctuary, a place where time lingers in the hush and nature, in all her gentle grandeur, welcomes a quiet heart. In this glade, the deer lowers itself onto the soft moss, folding its legs beneath its slender body. The figure, still feeling the soothing hush, settles nearby on a smooth, curved root. The glade's silence is not empty, but filled with unspoken harmony. Birds chirp softly from the branches, insects whir in the undergrowth, and somewhere close, the gentle glimmer of fairy lights weaves an almost melodic dance. The new day has arrived, yet the forest seems to exist in a suspended moment of calm, a hush that invites deeper reflection. Without a sound, a faint rustle draws attention to a small family of foxes peeking from behind an old stump. Their eyes glow with soft curiosity, fur brushed by the meandering sunlight. Two tiny kits, bold but wary, creep forward to sniff the air. The deer and the figure remain peaceful, exuding no threat, and so the foxes watch them with mild intrigue. One kit sneezes at a floating orb of fairy light, causing it to bob higher in a swirl of shimmering dust. As soon as the kit recovers from its little surprise, it scampers back to its sibling. Their mother lingers behind the stump, vigilant yet calm. The glade embraces them all, the foxes, the deer, the wandering figure, even the radiant lights. For a long moment, nature's tapestry weaves them together in wordless unity. There is no rush, no hurry. The hush of dawn extends into a morning lullaby, a period meant for quiet observation and gentle acceptance. The deer closes its eyes, perhaps lulled by the warmth of a mild sunbeam upon its coat. The figure too feels a soft weariness that carries no burden, just the kind of peaceful tiredness that invites a deeper rest of the heart. In time, the deer stirs, rising slowly with an unhurried elegance. The figure stands as well, stretching limbs gently, and notices how the day's brightness has grown. The mist that once hung thick in the air has thinned, revealing more of the forest's intricate patterns. Shadows have shifted but remain long and gentle, draped across the moss, like silent guardians of the morning. With a final glance at the slumbering fox kits, the pair resumes their stroll, leaving the glade as quietly as they came. Meandering deeper, they pass through a cluster of sweet-smelling wildflowers. Butterflies, drawn by the delicate perfume, flutter among the blooms, and pastel flashes of pink lavender, and powdery yellow. Their wings glisten, catching the shifting beams of sunlight and scattering them into tiny flecks of color. The deer inclines its head, curious about the fluttering motion, while the figure marvels at this living kaleidoscope of color and light. Soft footsteps carry them forward, deeper into a labyrinth of nature's own design. The path leads to a gently sloping hillside, crowned with an ancient oak that spreads its limbs wide. Beneath this oak stands a curious formation of stones, smooth, rounded boulders, arranged in a semicircle around a natural spring. Clear water trickles from the mouth of the spring, filling the air with the faint, soothing sound of a woodland fountain. The deer approaches with confident grace, bending to drink again while a handful of fairy lights bob over the waters, their reflections dancing in the ripples. Seated on one of the smooth stones, the figure watches the sunlight filter through the oak's canopy. Leaves tremble in the breeze, each motion creating a shifting tapestry of golden green shadows on the earth. The trunk of the oak is immense, deeply grooved and covered in soft patches of moss and lichen. One might sense a gentle presence in this place, as though the oak itself carries an ancient wisdom. A hush falls, thicker than before, pressing softly on the senses with a comforting weight, like a favorite blanket draped around the shoulders on a cool evening. Here, time seems measured by the slow drip of water into the spring, and each droplet is a note in a lullaby that soothes body and mind alike. The figure's eyelids grow heavy, but a gentle stirring within beckons them to continue, to wander further and witness the forest as it fully awakens. The deer steps away from the spring, its thirst quenched, and glances toward a shaded path that curls around the base of the oak. With gentle intent, it leads the figure onward, weaving deeper still into the wood. The wooded path narrows, embraced on both sides by tall ferns that bow under the weight of morning dew. Their fronds tickle the figure's legs and occasionally brush against the deer's coat. Overhead, a gentle hum signals the presence of bees, already busy among the flowers. Tiny hummingbirds flash like living jewels between the blossoms, their wings almost invisible in their rapid motion. Yet even with this bustle, there is no frantic energy here. Only a soft buzz that harmonizes with the forest's collected hush. When the path dips into a small hollow, the figure notices a lush carpet of clover and soft, leafy ground cover. The hush of the place, the mild dampness of the morning air, and the scent of fresh earth conjure a sense of deep restoration. A fallen log, consumed partially by moss and fungi, stretches across one side of the hollow, serving as a bridge for forest creatures. A chipmunk scampers along it, pausing to flick its tail before disappearing into a knot in the wood. Even the small creatures here appear at ease, free from the frantic urges that define so many waking hours elsewhere. In the quiet of that hollow, the deer stands still, ears swiveling as if hearing a gentle call, The fairy lights gather around a small clearing of grass, flickering in a gentle arc. The figure takes a moment to breathe in the hush, inhaling the sweet, damp aroma of the forest floor, letting it fill the lungs and soothe the mind. Each exhalation is a small surrender, a letting go. And so they continue, step by gentle step, following the path as it slopes upward again, leading to a place where sunlight glistens like spun gold. Emerging from the shade, they enter another clearing. Here the ground is strewn with pale pebbles, worn smooth by the passing of time. In the center stands a majestic willow, its sweeping branches trailing like a flowing green curtain. Droplets cling to each leaf, refracting the morning light into tiny prisms. The deer grazes quietly at the edge, nibbling at the fresh shoots. The figure steps beneath the curtain of willow branches, finding the air cooler and the sounds of the forest muffled once again. A soft, sweet melody seems to emanate from the rustling leaves, a lullaby that beckons the heart to slow, slow, slow. And so the day wears on in the enchanted wood, though one could easily forget the time has any hold here. The hush remains, soothing and unwavering, ushering in a deeper sense of wonder. The fairy lights, though diminished in number under the brighter sun, still swirl in little clusters among the shadows, as if reluctant to leave the beloved forest. The deer lifts its head from time to time to gaze into the distance, ears perked toward the intangible hum of nature's hidden rhythms. Finally, the deer leads the figure to a secluded knoll where a patch of soft grass invites rest. The figure settles onto the ground, feeling the blades brush gently against their hands. The deer remains near, occasionally stepping around the clearing, nibbling on any patches of clover it finds particularly fresh. Overhead, the canopy recedes, revealing a wide expanse of sky that radiates a pale, comforting blue. The morning mist has all but vanished, leaving behind a delicate freshness that lingers like the memory of a dream. A sense of drowsiness seeps into the figure's limbs, a tender weight urging them to sink deeper, to relinquish all thought of hurry or care. Even the deer seems lulled by this whisper of rest, its dark eyes half-lidded, its breathing slow and measured. The wind drifts in soft currents, stirring only the lightest rustle in the leaves. Occasionally, a fairy light appears, floating near the grass with a warm glow before disappearing into the distance. Each orb's presence feels like a friendly visitor, offering a reminder that magic, no matter how subtle, is always within reach. Now the day grows calmer, and in that deep tranquility, the world outside these forest walls softens to a distant memory. The hush here is profoundly soothing, inviting your entire being to let go. Let your breath fill your lungs with the forest's gentle spirit, then release it, carrying away the day's worries and cares. Each exhale is a quiet invitation to sink further into restful peace. Allow the soft hush of the clearing to cradle you, as if nature herself has woven a cushion of morning light and tender moss. Let the slow rhythms of the forest guide your heart toward stillness. Notice how the breeze has quieted, how each tiny noise has become a lullaby, coaxing your mind into a serene drift. Feel a gentle heaviness in your eyelids, a release of all tension in your forehead and cheeks. Let your shoulders drop, your arms grow limp, your legs become wonderfully relaxed. Sense that in this sacred place you are free to float, drifting like a dandelion seed carried by the breeze. The deer stands as a silent companion, its presence a reassurance that you are safe, that all is well. The fairy lights, though fewer now, continue their subtle dance in the periphery of your vision. They shine in soft pulses, as if echoing the steady lull of a sleepy heartbeat. Their gentle radiance reflects the forest's invitation to rest, to slip away from wakeful demands into the land of soft dreams. And so your mind eases, your thoughts slow, your breath deepens. It is time now to let the hush embrace you fully. No need to resist the pull of slumber. Let each exhale draw you further into the tender arms of the forest's restful magic. Feel the grass beneath you, the whisper of a breeze across your cheek. The quiet hum of nature serenades you, guiding you gently toward a realm of sweet repose. Sleep beckons, warm and comforting, like a favorite quilt in a cozy corner. Let the final drift of fairy lights soothe your eyes until they close, drifting beyond the boundaries of waking. You are safe, you are peaceful. Your dreams await in this misty woodland sanctuary. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.